Hey everyone, it's Tuesday. That means it's our podcast day. I hope you guys are all having a great week and off to a good start. The weather here in Georgia is just gorgeous and it's been warming up. And so we've been enjoying more outside time. And I just cannot believe that we're already in the middle of March, because we were just talking about spring break plans over the weekend with my boys. And I just cannot believe that time just flew by. A year ago, this week is when we had the order to shut down our brick and mortar business at that time. We were told to shelter at home or in place. And so I chose to shut down. And I remember the feelings of anxiety at that time, just the confusion and overwhelming sense of this, just a lost feeling. But I was secretly elated because it forced me to really think about my business. And fortunately for me, I was able to really shed away. And a lot of the people that needed to go outside, or not outside, but people who needed to leave my business, my employees and the teachers that I had, they left, and it all worked out for the better. And not good or bad or indifferent, where we are today is so much different. And I feel like we are so finally in complete alignment with where we need to be as a company. But today I want to talk to you guys about value and your concepts around money. I used to be one of those people. Financial literacy didn't come really easy. I didn't learn the great habits from my parents. My parents were super, super successful. And as immigrants, they worked really hard. And so I was always taught having money really can be a negative thing. It can be a show off, and using money to show off and buying expensive things, to me, I made it mean that money is evil. Money is hard to come by. Money is something that you shy away from talking about, right? Or wanting, because that would mean that you're greedy and all the things. And as I became a business owner, I realized and learned that the more you don't talk about money and have healthy consciousness around your money, nothing happens. If there is no exchange for money for the value that you provide to your clients, at the end of the day, you're going to fail. And you're not here to fail. If you are in the business of health promotion, you're doing a good service for your clients. And if you shy away from serving, and if you shy away from charging the amount that's due to you, guess what? Your clients don't value. They keep wanting the free thing from you. And that's not the relationship that you want to have, because resentments build up and there's a lot of things and hatred under the layers. You know what I'm talking about. When you give, we always expect something in return. There's always a give and take. There is a quotient being exchanged, and then it happens with your spouse. Maybe not necessarily with money, but it's like, if I do this for you, honey, unexpected expectation is there. We all have expectation. We have a cup that needs to be filled, right, with what we do for one another. Why wouldn't it ring true for the services that you provide? Because at the core of each and every one of you runs this deep lack of self-confidence and self-love and self-respect and self-worth, so much so that sometimes you guys are repelling the money, and you shy away from naming the dollars that you're worth. And that needs to change in the way you think about money. Financial literacy is something that I want you to focus on, because as you get going in this world today, where so much information abounds, there's no reason why you couldn't set up a very healthy revenue stream in your respective businesses. No matter if you're working as an employee or not, there's other revenue streams that you can easily implement, especially in the line of work that you do. So let's talk about what value is, right? The value is, by definition, the regard that something is held to deserve. It's the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. So if you're providing true value, for example, reversing their disease, getting rid of their pain, teaching them to be disease-free. You're providing them with health, which is highly valuable in the lives of many. It's in your confidence level. It's in the way you present your offer and your services and your messaging to get to the hearts and the minds of the patients that you want to serve. And if you do it correctly, they are going to be flocking to you to pay the top dollars for you, choose you to service them in the way that they need. They just don't know that they need you, and you're not doing a very good job of explaining and doing the fine-tuning your message to get the right message to them. Because at the end of the day, money is something we all shy away from. And when I work with my business coach and had to do this deep work, I realized just how much money wasn't a top priority value. And my coach looked at me and said, well, no wonder why you're not successful in your business and your revenue stream. Like, that was over 10 years ago, and I've learned, and I had to force myself to think differently about my business. Because when we don't value money, then we are repelling the money and we don't attract it in our lives. Money also is something that I learned is not something we earn. It's what we attract. It's a concept I want you to entertain in your minds, because money or wealth is a consciousness that we can adapt. Money also allows us to have freedom, you guys. It allows us to afford things for our kids, roof over our heads, afford our health care. It buys us the ability to go on vacations. It provides us and affords our ability to take care of our aging parents. It brings out more of who you are. It's not evil. But growing up, if you've been conditioned to think that money is hard to come by, it's evil, and you have to work super duper hard, and money doesn't grow on trees, and you are told that you are living on the wrong side of the track, that you'll never be successful, then guess what? It'll always be one to elude you. My business coach also told me a story about Donald Trump, and this really set in for me. In 1992, Donald Trump was walking down the streets of New York. And at that time, he was reportedly in debt of over $2.8 billion, not in business debt, but personal liability at that time. And as he was walking down the street in New York City, he passed by a homeless man and joked that he was better off than he was, meaning the homeless man was better off than he was, because the homeless man, at least he was broke, but he wasn't upside down $2.8 billion, right? So if you think about the content to the context, I want you to think about the content. At that time, the evidence of money was $2.8 billion in debt versus the homeless guy who was $0 in debt. Who's better off, right? Of course, the homeless guy was better off if you look at the numbers. But today, Donald Trump is worth over $4 billion, depending on what you read. Why is that? Well, it's because of his money consciousness, his context, or his operational system. He values money. He identifies himself as a wealthy person. So he was able to bring up his wealth and attract more wealth through the things that he did versus the homeless person who likely is still homeless and broke today. You hear a lot about lottery winners who win lots of money, over $1 million, and a few years later, they're all broke. Because again, the context for the content, they're in their identity poor, so they can't hold on to the money. So they end up repelling the money away. It's reported that Mike Tyson, he earned over $300 million in his career. And yet today he's broke. And again, because of his identity. Think about Mother Teresa, you guys. I remember reading about her and how rich and wealthy she was because she never worried about money, but money just kept flowing to her, right? Because everywhere she went, she was just residing in the most expensive hotels and homes that were being offered to Mother Teresa wherever she went. In her mind, she was wealthy, but through the work that she was doing, she never had to worry about a roof over her head. You see how that's money consciousness? I want you guys to really recognize that money is consciousness. And if you're in the business of health, I really want you guys to start thinking about the earning, the providing the value, and really charging the dollars that's appropriate for the service that you're providing. And if you're always thinking about how little you make, you're likely repelling money in your life. Its law of attraction does play a role. It turns out that life is not so black and white. So I teach the concept of the alkaline method. It's the truly integrative method that allows us to put together all the foundational elements together to make you whole. It's truly an integrative coaching program that allows you to look at a wholeness of the human being, right? The alkaline method has 4 essential pillars. First pillar is the subconscious mind with its own 3 pillars. And then second element of the alkaline method is the conscious mind, and with its own 3 essential pillars under the conscious mind. And then in the modern medicine element, the third element of the alkaline method is all about modern medicine with its 3 essential pillars, if you will, of how we address the dysfunctions in the body. And then the fourth element of the alkaline method is all about timeless wisdom. It's the laws of abundance. It's the laws of universe. It's all about energy healing. It's all about using yoga as your opportunity for growth and abundance is what yoga is. It's a full, wholehearted approach that we address. It's very different from the rest of holistic approaches out there, where we fragment the dietary piece, the movement piece, the fitness piece, the functional medicine piece, the serological piece, the gut. All the systematic pieces of the puzzle come together as a whole framework that makes sense of the greater, bigger picture. And it really does play a role in you shifting your identity from sick to health. And it really starts with you. Because I talk about the fact that we need 3 essential things to be a healthy human in this world. 1 is our wealth, 2 is our health, and 3rd is healthy relationships. And in order for us to have all 3, we have 1 ingredient that's missing, and that is self-love. The relationship with ourselves is the most important, and that's something that's completely dismissed by all the holistic treatments. We focus on self-importance, what we know from the 3D realm of figuring out what's wrong, but that really misses the foundational pieces. And alkaline method brings it all together. And that's what functional yoga medicine is all about. If you haven't done so yet, please join me to have elevated conversations in our free Facebook group called Functional Yoga Medicine. As well as, if you like what I say, please subscribe to our iTunes, Functional Yoga Medicine. It really does help with the algorithm. And I really want to get to many of you as possible to give you a different way to look at your business and your self-worth in the line of work that you do. I want to empower you to be the most powerful healer that you are meant to be and bring out the essence of who you are in all that you do, and make sure that you are successful in the process. It's a framework by which we can pull everything together, not polarized and fragmented pieces of the puzzle, but all of it coming together, converging together to equip you with the framework to be the true integrative healer that you are. I hope this was worthwhile for you, and I hope you guys gained a lot of insights from this. Never forget who you are in the line of work that you do. It all stems from who you are being in the moment, more so than what you're trying to do in your profession. It starts at a deeper layer. So I hope that was insightful. Join me again next time at this time, 3:30 every Tuesdays. It's where I go live for my podcast episodes. Thanks for watching or listening, and I'll see you guys all next week.